To begin the show, we'll start off with the top 10 Ghanaian transfers that have happened so far, and then we'll get into a lot of other stuff as well. Rita, Pichichi, and Susu, all welcome to the show. Let's get into it real quick. And so we have a top 10 list. So top of the list is Antoine Semenyo. He's the biggest Ghanaian transfer to have happened in this particular window. Bristol City to AFC Bournemouth. Permanent transfer, 10.5 or 10.25 million euros. That's a lot of money. I remember we debated this on Panorama real quick. Yeah. Pichichi, I don't remember exactly what your stance was, but just snap thoughts on him.
My stance on his move to Bournemouth was that I would have preferred him to go to Crystal Palace, but Bournemouth showed that they wanted him more. They made close to 3 bids for him. First 2 rejected, and he had the money eventually. But I feel that, yes, at Bournemouth, he might get enough playing time. But also at Crystal Palace, the quality of teammates there would try to bring the best out of him, because I felt that the likes of Olise, the likes of Eze will force the best of Semenyo. But yes, Crystal Palace bid was very late in that regard. And for me, Bournemouth showed that they needed him more. They wanted him badly. So for someone who was so keen of playing in the English Premier League, it was just prudent that he chose the Bournemouth deal. And I think that, yes, that's what he wanted, to play in the English Premier League. He wants to roll shoulders to the big boys. And it's a huge chance for such a player. I think that he has one of the best qualities to do well in the English Premier League. I like how he's able to hold on to play. His wing play as well. He's a very top player, how he cuts in. And his finishing, he's a very, very good player, and he's done so in the Championship. And as every human being, you want to go further in your career. So after what I call he doing so well in the Championship, or he trying to show his mettle in the Championship, it's just prudent that he will find the interest of playing in the Premier League. He's there now for Bournemouth, and as to how he starts for them is very key, because there's a team that will be in the relegation fight, whether we like it or yes. Bournemouth are not that high either in terms of performances. So he's going to a team that will be under so much pressure as the season progresses. All he has to do is try to get them enough goals as possible. They'll rely not just on his goals, but also his teammates in terms of the assists he provides for them as well, because they will need all this in their battle to survive in the English Premier League. And it's a good move for a player in that regard. For me, I think that one thing that he also has to do is to try and settle in quickly. This is quite interesting, because we've seen players come into such teams and they need some time to settle in and all that.
Dominic Solanke is still trying to settle in.
Exactly, but I doubt the fans of Bournemouth will give Semenyo that time to settle in, because they need his goals now. They need the assist now, and that's the sort of pressure that will be on him to try and fit in as soon as possible and get them going. But it's a good move. I don't commit it half, because I thought Crystal Palace was a better option. But he's at Bournemouth, so I would say I wish him the best, and I know that he's going to show them what he's made of. But Semenyo is a good signing for Bournemouth.
Good signing. Nathan Kwao has joined us on the line. Hi, Nathan.
Hi, guys. How are you doing?
Wonderful, wonderful stuff. It's good to hear from you. Just hang in there for a second. I'm going to come to you for a few opinions. We are currently just going through the top 10 transfers or Ghanaian transfers that have happened this window. I'll get your thoughts in a bit. Let me take Susu Graham's thoughts on Elisha Owusu. So Elisha Owusu has also moved. For those of you who don't know, he was playing his football in Ghent in the Belgian Jupiler League. He's now moved to AJ Auxerre to join Gideon Mensah. So just quick thoughts on this one. Not a move that went under the radar for a lot of people. It's an undisclosed fee, but it looks like he was comfortable at Ghent. Does this Auxerre move signal an upgrade, or you think this is possibly a downgrade for him?
Well, there's 2 things for me about the Auxerre move. And it's something that it relates to the Semenyo move and the Kamaldeen move. It's a similar move. You are moving to a higher level, but the higher level you are moving to a relegation threatened team. Because as it stands right now, after 20 games, Auxerre have 13 points and they are 5 points from safety. So you're wondering to yourself, even if Elisha Owusu plays and he performs well, what's going to happen to him if Auxerre cannot get out of the relegation zone? Is the rest of the team good enough to survive? So I'm happy for him that he's now playing in one of Europe's top 5 leagues. He's made the step up. I mean, he played in France for years, so he knows the league already. So it's not like it's a new environment for him. But I wonder about the quality of his teammates at Auxerre. Can they make the step up? can they actually get him to the level he needs to get at to stay in the league? Because he's one player, he can't do it all.
Yeah.
So that's the part of the transfer that bothers me. And the same can we say will apply to Semenyo and Kamaldeen when we talk about them. So when you make these moves, where you move to a higher level, but the team you are moving to in a better league is relegation threatened, you might be back to square one. Because playing in the Belgian Pro League is definitely better than playing in League 2, right? Or playing in
any day.
Or playing in League 1 is better than playing in the Championship.
Yeah.
You might be making more money, but your professional prospects have gone down because of the level you are. And these are national team players. Yeah. So it affects their standing in the Black Stars. I know that at least we've not been averse to calling players from the Championship to the Black Stars. So the players like Semenyo and Kamaldeen, if they drop to the Championship, I'm not worried for their Black Stars prospects. But I would be worried for Elisha Owusu if he goes to League 2. And the same goes for Gideon Mensah, who's also with him at Auxerre. Because Auxerre is not doing too well. So that is an issue for me. The fact that I'm happy they've made their step up, but will Auxerre have enough in their tank? And remember, 4 teams are getting relegated in France this year because they are trimming their league from 20 teams to 18 starting from next season. So they're relegating 4 teams. So this season, 17th is not enough.
This doesn't look tasty at all.
You have to be 16th. And the team that's 16th is 5 points ahead of Auxerre as we speak, with halfway through the season. And a team that's collected 13 points from 20 games is going to be tough. That 5 points is a huge gap if that's the amount of points they collected after 13 games. So I'm a bit worried, but I'm happy for him for increasing his level. But we'll see how it goes. Maybe he has a release clause in his contract in the event of relegation, so he'll be able to get out. But that part of the transfer worries me.
Let me get to Nathan real quick on one transfer that I find interesting. Edmond Addo. He had a weird transfer merry-go-round. So it looked like he was heading to Red Star Belgrade. We saw him in pictures with a Red Star jersey. It didn't materialize. He eventually went back to Sheriff Tiraspol. Now he's moved to FK Spartak Subotica. Now Subotica is in the Serbian top flight. It's a permanent transfer. But Nathan, I mean, if you look at Edward's trajectory over the past couple of years, Black Stars, Champions League with Sheriff, and then to miss out on a Red Star Belgrade move and to end up with Subotica in the Serbian top flight. What do you make of that transfer, first of all, and are you happy with how it's going for the young man?
No, I'm not happy at all with how his career has played out, because after starting well for Sheriff, we all thought the next move, I personally thought he was on his way to Italy or, a league of a bigger profile. And it's quite surprising that it has played out like this. I thought that the Red Star move would play out well. It didn't. He had to go in a different direction. It's puzzling how that has not worked for him. I don't know whether it is a lack of application or maybe, the transfer dynamics have not favored him. But I thought he would be at a far better place than Sheriff a few years after he burst onto the scene, a few years after we all recognized the kind of talent he had and the potential he had. So I'm quite surprised that it's played out like this. I don't know the reasons behind this eventual landing bit for him or where he's gone to. I'm quite surprised because I know that the people in his camp are very good people. They have great intentions. They would have wanted better. I don't know what happened along the line, but it's a pass that I look at and it's not too pleasing. We all thought that we'd see him do better, but let's see. Maybe some of these things happen. Players can reset and come back strongly. So I hope that he will bounce back strongly, because you've seen players move from these kinds of leagues to big things. He has to apply himself. And to be honest, the few times we have seen him play post or just when he got into the Black Stars and after that spell, he's not played too well either for club or country. So he will have to start to show better form, better performances so that he can get a bigger chance to move up the ladder and play in a more prominent league.
Nathan, let me just hold you to another transfer that is not currently on my list, but it's on the list of anticipated transfers for tonight. It's basically Andrea Ayew's terminated move from Al Sadd. I mean, he terminated his contract with Al Sadd. I found it strange, but I quickly thought that, look, maybe he's looking at his numbers and says that I can have another crack at Europe with these my numbers. And now L'Equipe is reporting that Andre is in talks with Everton as we currently speak. How much of a shocker is that for you? And how do you think this transfer will possibly play out, looking at the stage in which Andre is in his career?
I think when we talk about this transfer, you have to look at the two entities: Andrea, you as a player, and Everton as a club. The decision to leave outside surprised me because nobody knew that he was thinking about that. Nobody saw that coming, and then boom, we all get hit. And then there's this talk of Everton. I rather look at it more from an Everton perspective than from an Andrea Ayew perspective. He has left outside. I'm sure his handlers may have sounded out a few clubs in Europe. I'm sure some interest was there. That's why he decided to cut up his contract and leave. But for Everton, you look at their situation, and if you understand the context in which the club is operating now, they just fired Frank Lampard, they brought in Sean Dyche, the fans are on the necks of the board members. A few weeks ago, board members were physically threatened. Some have not gone back to watch Everton games. The fans need something. They need to see that Moshiri and his friends are running the club in a good way. They need something to boost their confidence. And I think that the Everton board is just reacting. They are trying to get anybody in just to make the fans happy. Andrea Ayew won't cost them an arm and a leg in terms of the fact that he doesn't come with a transfer fee. They'll work out the wage. I'm sure Andrea Ayew will settle for a decent wage. If the Premier League, his profile is big enough, and I'm sure he will look at it and say more eyes will watch. So maybe he'll trade that off for some money. Like I said, it's a bit more on Everton and what it is they are trying to do. I suspect they are just reacting to fan impatience, fan turbulence. People are signing. They have to sign somebody. Because I look at Andre as a player, and I'm asking myself, the legs aren't there. Now, what will Sean Dyche do? Will he deploy him as a forward? Where is he going to play Andre Ayew? Because if you look at all other positions, they seem to be taking. He can't play in the wide areas. He's not as quick as Demarai Gray. If you look at Alex Iwobi, he has now become a central midfielder or a number 10. He's doing very well in that role. And if you look at the kinds of players that are at Everton, you wonder where Andre Ayew will fit. They've lost Anthony Gordon, but Andre Ayew and Anthony Gordon are on opposite sides of the age pyramid. So I don't know why they are doing this deal, but I suspect it's a reaction to fan turbulence. They want to bring somebody in, and so they have found somebody they would want to bring in at no cost. You only cost them wages, and it's between now and the end of the season, so they can work out the math and cover that. But I wonder what pressing need he is going to attempt to or try and solve for them. You can argue and say they need goals. Yeah, Andrea has 22 in 39, but that's for outside. How much of those can he give Everton as they try to fight some relegation? So it's a bit of a strange transfer, but if you look at it from an Everton perspective, I think they are just rolling the dice to see if they can get somebody with some experience to guide them through this very difficult patch they are in right now. They are close to the bottom of the Premier League, and they need to get going very quickly, or else it will be bye-bye Premier League and hello Championship at the end of the season.
Okay. Let me just announce the text, WhatsApp, and Telegram lines again. 0549 986 996 0549 986 996. Rita, let me just take your thoughts on the Andre Ayew issue. Nathan just shed some light on it, on what could possibly have been going through Everton's mind. What do you think this is all about? Do you think that if this deal actually goes through, he'll get playing time? This could actually work to an extent?
I think so, because Everton are currently struggling for goals in the Premier League, and I know a lot of Ghanaians or a lot of people don't see Andre Ayew as the ideal person when you're looking for a striker or someone to put in the goals, but Ayew is actually he's a good goal scorer when you need him. So I think they are looking for a temporary fix. Maybe someone that can, help them put in the goals, because that's one thing they're really struggling with.
Their top goal scorer this season has 3 goals.
Yes.
Demarai Gray and departed Anthony Gordon, 3 goals each.
Yeah, and Andre Ayew played 38 games for Al Sadd and scored 22 goals. Mm-hmm. That's a good goal scoring record. And of course, someone will say, "Oh, but the Qatari league is not, as competitive as the Premier League." But Andre Ayew is a proven goal scorer. Once you put him in the right spot, he's going to get you a goal. So I think the move to Everton will not be a bad one. but I don't know if it is necessarily something they need at this point. Looking at his age, the Premier League is very physical, and he's grown past that stage. Andrea Ayew is no longer.
He's what, 33 now?
Yes, he can't. He's not. He doesn't have that energy. He doesn't have that physical strength for the Premier League at this point in time. So I don't know if that move is going to work out for him, unless they are just going to put him in the middle and say, hey, you be here, you're a target man, cross the ball to him, pass the ball to him, let him put the ball in the back of the net. But the Premier League is not as simple as that. And so I don't know if that move is going to necessarily work, but I could see it happening. And I won't be shocked if it eventually happens, because they are desperate. They are trying to find...
This is definitely desperation time for Everton.
They are trying to find ways and means to, put themselves in a good position to remain in the league. At this point, they need every help they can get. So I won't be surprised if they eventually, if the deal goes through and then they decide to get him in the team.
Well, when Andrea Ayew moved to the Premier League first, I believe he was 24 years old. Let me just go through his numbers from his time in the Premier League and also the Championship, just so we are all clear on what's going on. So he moved from Marseille to Swansea City. In his first season, I believe he scored 12 goals. Yes, he scored 12 goals in his first season with Swansea City. And then he moved to West Ham and he scored 6 goals the next season in 25 appearances. And then he made 18 appearances and scored 3 goals. And then he moved on to Fenerbahce. He made 29 appearances, he scored 5 goals, and then came back to join Swansea in the Championship. And that's when he really exploded that season. He scored a truckload of goals in those seasons. He scored 17 goals and 16 goals respectively in the 2 seasons with Swansea. So I wouldn't say he's a bona fide goal scorer, but he knows how to carry his way around the Premier League and the Championship pretty well. So, Andrea, we'll be keeping an eye out for that one if it does happen. Just quick thoughts on that.
My quick thoughts on that Andrea Ayew move is that for Everton, I think that they looked at 2 key things here, and Andrea Ayew suited it to the profile. One, someone who has experience in the English Premier League, and someone who joined the club on a free transfer. And Andre offers the 2. Yes, as simple as that.
Yep.
He has played in the Premier League. He played 89 games for West Ham and Swansea, scoring 21 goals, which is quite a good feedback from such a player. And as such, looking at what he did for Swansea and West Ham, and that at the moment he's without a club, I think Everton thought of all the situation and felt like, see, this is our man. At the moment, we are likely to be in a hot relegation fight. And if you have somebody like this who is a free agent, let's try and then rope in him in, alongside a new manager. And for Andre, yes, Nathan highlighted the fact that he has lost his leg. So obviously on the wings, it will not be the best for him to play. But I feel that Andre Ayew in the penalty box is one of the lethal forwards you can ever get in the Premier League. He knows how to score with his head very well. He's a good header of the ball, and he always finds himself at the right position. So I think Everton have weighed their options and felt that this is a good player for us. He will bring in what we want, somebody who has that experience and somebody who's not going to cost us so much. You know how financially tough it is for their owner at the moment, so they will not want to splash lots of cash on players. And Andre, at the moment, Charlie, everything about him now suits Everton, so they would love to tie up a deal with him if only he likes the deal as well. I know people some few days ago sort of linked him to Barcelona. Please.
No, you see, I don't blame them. There was a point where Kevin Prince Boateng came from nowhere and came to play for Barca.
Because Xavi commented on his picture.
I understand where they're coming from, but Andre to Barca will be quite difficult. I feel that in the Premier League, Everton is a good fit for him at the moment. But if not, I think the Swansea fans are also clamoring for him to come back. But I feel that between Swansea now and Everton, it's a good one for him to join the Toffees. He can be their missing puzzle to fight the relegation battle. I think he'll be a good fit for them.
Andrea Ayew to Everton. Let's see if it eventually gets done. Tariq Fosu, he's lost his way a little. Brentford, he's been loaned out to Rotterdam. It's not going too well for Tariq Fosu. Just quick thoughts on the young man. He was in the Black Stars at a point.
Exactly. Our first choice right back.
Yeah.
I believe his problem came when Brentford were promoted. And I believe they kind of indicated that he was unlikely to get game time. And he said no, he'll try and stay and fight for his place. And it didn't work out. Because from what I know about, what's their name? Rotherham. They are either at the bottom of the championship or in League One. And I believe there were probably championship clubs who wanted him at that point. Look at someone like Albert Adoma. Very regularly, when his teams get promoted, what's the next thing? They sell him.
Yeah.
Because it looks like a lot of teams have decided that that's his level. He can get into the Premier League, but he might not be able to contribute in the Premier League. And it's a thing. If you look at other countries, this in Serie B, there's these strikers that everyone knows that in Serie B, they'll get 20 goals. You bring them to Serie A, they'll get 2. So if you are trying to get promotion, you buy them for the season, you get your 20 goals, you sell them to the next guy, and they get their 20 goals, and it goes like that. So I don't think it's a knock on you if your level is a championship. It's still one of the best. Look, if we are
one of the best leagues in the world,
it's probably still in the top 20, top 15 leagues in the world. Is a very high level, even though it's a second tier. But I feel like because of the allure of the Premier League is just within reach, you feel like you can test yourself, and it doesn't always work out. So I believe that when they were promoted, when it seemed that there wasn't a chance for him to kind of get game time, that's when you should look for a move. I think he's left it a bit too long, and his stock has dipped a lot. I can just check where Rotherham.
Yeah.
See, I'm not even familiar with it.
Yeah, easy with that. While you check Rotherham out, let's talk about Latif Atablessing.
So they are they're in the championship. Still.
So
but they are 20th of 24.
Wow.
So it's not
struggle.
It's not ideal.
It's about to be a struggle. Pichich, just quick thoughts on Latif. Latif is moved from Los Angeles FC to New England Revolution. Permanent transfer, 379,000 euros. Now, Latif established himself as an LAFC fan favorite before he made a move. Are you surprised at the career trajectory?
Well, I felt for such a player with such brilliance. After some years in the major league soccer, he would try to come to Europe. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But I think he's found more sort of love in the USA and wants to stay there. I enjoyed his time in the local league where he was flamboyant for Liberty Professionals. He was just tormenting defenders here and there. And for me, I think one thing that this offers for him is that he gets to show what he can do more in the Major League Soccer, and we know his quality. So obviously, I see this move as just a relaunch of what he's doing in the USA, and I'll be glad if after all this he gets that opportunity to play in Europe. That would be the highlight of his career, to see him playing in major European leagues week in, week out. He's a very fantastic player, and yes, he's trying his best in the USA. He's given his all, but in summary, he needs to wrap this up quickly and come to Europe.
Wrap it up and come to Europe. Let me go to Nathan if Nathan is still on the line. Hello, Nathan.
Yes, I'm here.
Nice one. Let's talk about Kwame Pepra. So he seems to be having quite the time in South Africa. So he was unhappy following his first season. It was pretty decent. He's moved from Orlando Pirates to Maritzburg United, a reverse of what Richard Ofori did a couple of years back. Don't commit the move or not?
I will. I will. Don't commit the move. He's not leaving the PSL. I thought he would have had an extended run at Orlando Pirates. Orlando Pirates themselves have been going through a bit of the motions. They fired their coach a few months ago. They've had a new coach. It's been a tough time. They thought they could challenge for the title. They're falling off. They started winning recently. They won their last 3 straight games, if I believe. And so, like I said, they've gone through a bit of a turbulent time. So they've had to reshuffle the team. And it's Kwame Pepra who didn't get the luck of the draw and he's been shipped out to Maritzburg. I mean, once he's alone, I think that what he can do is show the form or show the kind of ability that got him noticed in the first place and then fight his way back. But I look at Kwame Pepe's example and it just adds to the long line of Ghanaian footballers who struggle to really cut it in South Africa. I don't know what it is with Ghanaian footballers in South Africa. Not one I know has gone there and has absolutely torn up the league and has written a name for himself.
Jonathan Corte, Jonathan Mensah, Richard Ofori.
You've mentioned Jonathan Mensah. He had a bit of a successful time. He played there and then got his move out.
Yeah, there was Lawrence Latte.
Then there was Lawrence Latte. He had a horrible time. There was Emmanuel Baffor one time. top goal scorer.
Our good friend Edwin Jima.
Edwin Jima is bounced all around the PSL. So I don't know what it is with Ghanaian players in South Africa. It doesn't seem to work well. I just hope that Kwame Pepa can find his form once again and then get the attention of Orlando Pirates. But the story with most of these teams is that once you are at Pirates and you get loaned out, not a lot of them come back to their mother team. For a lot of them, it's a one-way ticket out. And we'll see how the story plays out. I just hope he can find his form once again and prove the critics wrong and prove himself right in South Africa. But I was really hoping he was going to get an extended run at Orlando Pirates. But I guess it's a victim of circumstance. The team has been going through a bit of a downtime. They are, how many points? A lot of points behind Mamelodi Sundowns, and they are just reacting to the things that are happening. And so it's Kwame Pepa who's had to suffer the brunt of that. So he's been shipped out. We wait to see. I mean, I do keep my eye on the PSL, so we'll wait to see how he fares for Maritzburg.
So don't commit to Maritzburg. Nathan supports Kwame Pepa's move. Rita, let me come to you on Mudasiru Salifu. So he went on loan to Sheriff Tiraspol from Asante Kotoko. I was there with Edmond Addo for a bit. I thought that he had done enough to secure a permanent move. His move to Al Batten FC in the Saudi League, I believe it's a permanent transfer from Asante Kotoko. Quick thoughts on that. Very silky defensive midfielder Mudasiru moved to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I mean, it's surprising. I think everyone expected him to eventually permanently sign for Sheriff Tiraspol because we all thought he did pretty well in the 21 appearances he made for the club, but obviously the club thought otherwise and loaned him out to Albertson, who are struggling in that particular league out there. So I mean, it's up to him to do well and show everyone what's he can do. What we've seen him do in the Ghana Premier League, where he helped Kumasi Asante Kotoko to win the Ghana Premier League before moving out to Sheriff Tiraspol. So it's not an ideal move, maybe for him even, but it's football. You need to prove why. You need to prove to the team why you are here or why they brought you in to help the team. And so if he can help the team stay in that league and then improve himself, I'm sure eventually he'll get a bigger club to play for. So it's up to him at this point. I mean, leaving Ghana is a big deal for most of these players. So I'm sure he knows what he has to do out there. Just prove to us why you were rated highly here in Ghana.
Mudasiru Salifu Al Batten. Let me just wrap up the top 10 Ghanaian transfers. So there's also Kwabena Owusu from Karabag to Ferencvaros in the Hungarian league. That's a permanent deal as well. And then you also have Nathan Opoku from Syracuse to Leicester City. It's a loan transfer.
I think this is a very interesting one because he's being signed out of the US college system.
Yep. Syracuse Orange.
Yeah, exactly. So he's being signed from the US college system by Leicester City. They're sending him on loan to Belgium in the meantime, but it just shows that they really must believe in his talent because it's not a move you really see that much.
Doesn't happen at all.
Go from university to a pro team. That's not in the United States. So he didn't even go into the draft, play in the MLS or anything like that. So he's one to look out for.
Nathan Opoku from Syracuse to Leicester. And then there's Raouf Salifu from Accra Lions to Selangor FC. Raouf Salifu is a 20-year-old forward from Accra Lions. So if you watch the Ghana Premier League, you possibly would have seen him. Let me just quickly run through the list again, and then we will switch our attention to some of the deals that have been completed in Europe, the bigger ones, of course.
Let's go. It's don't call me time.